No excuses. I got no excuses.
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to No Excuses. We got 44 days until June 1st where I will be 240 pounds. In this video, I want to talk to you about emotional eating and why it's like hindering your whole health, weight loss, and happiness. Because you're letting food control your outcomes, your emotions, and your state of mind. I've done this video so many times because I made it so long, and I don't think it needs to be that long. It could be pretty simple and right to the point. So let's just talk about me right now. My experiences might be something everyone else has experienced, because I cannot be the only person in the world that eats for emotions and comfort for this reason. So if we just go back very beginning, when I was 3, I remember my parents arguing extensively. My father being drunk and using drugs extensively. I don't think he used hardcore drugs, but he smoked cigarettes, he smoked marijuana, and then he drank, and that did lead to my mom and him having a divorce. And then when that happened, I definitely didn't feel like I was wanted or accepting. I was very confused, obviously, as any child would be. And when that happened, I definitely remember my mom compensating with purchasing me items as food, Timbits, things to make me feel better. And just the weird regiment that we would do. Like, I'd go play hockey, I'd get a 12-pack of Timbits. I would go do something, I'd get food. I'd get always rewarded with food, like an animal, kind of. Weird when you think about it. And then the regime at my grandmother's house, which was my baba, would be on Sundays you go there and you eat a plethora of very hearty, like very dense, like a fatty soup with ground beef in it, pork shoulder, sauerkraut, dumplings, bukti, anything you can think of, like very sweet, very heavy, very dense foods. And if you didn't want to eat, then you were scolded for not eating, and then you were made to be guilty and potentially feel unloved and unwanted. When I went there, if you ate too much, you're a piggy. If you didn't eat enough, you didn't care about her. It was just weird, like mental warfare that no one knew they were doing, because they were that's how they grew up. So they just passed it on to you and passed on the damage and trauma to you. And then of course, I got older, and my mother actually found a person that she had become her husband, and that was around not too long after my father, because my grandmother and grandfather kind of had them meet, and it seemed like a great match. But the only issue was me. I wasn't wanted. He didn't like me, but because I was her son, I was a package deal. He very much didn't like me, and I remember at dinner time I would always ask for more food, just because now looking back on it, I was so uncomfortable that the only way to not be uncomfortable was to be stuffed and full, basically like in a brain fog, like ugh. And then I would be called lazy and dumb and fat, which kind of was. I wasn't really fat, I was thicker, but I was very active, so I didn't get to really be fat, which kind of was okay for a bit there. It didn't pay off forever, but in my young years, it did pay off. I grow up, I try to make friends. My parents send me to a school where none of my friends go, so now I'm in a new school with nobody. So, this whole time, I remember being uncomfortable all the time, everywhere. Emotionally, just mentally drained. And the only thing that I would do to compensate would eat food. And that would be like, I would go to the fridge, if there was desserts, I'd eat the ice creams. I would do everything to get anything I wanted in my system to make me feel just this much better. And, we didn't really show affection and love in my family. So, like, hugs and kisses, they weren't a thing. So it was very hard to read the room. You wouldn't know if you're wanted or not wanted. Only now, having to talk about it, people say, oh yeah, of course we loved you. But you say that now, but that's not how I felt. So eventually got to the point that in high school, I was lifting weights and everything, and all this was kind of like compensating still for the food I was eating. I never really looked how I wanted to look and felt how I wanted to feel. So I never took my shirt off, never went swimming. Those small things, right? But these weird layers of like, my parents not being together, my dad not picking me up some days, my mom always mad at me, not knowing why, my stepfather not liking me, my grandparents, uncles and everything treating me like garbage, being bullied, all these small things created these layers of me not being confident, me not loving myself, and me really just hating myself. And the only time I felt good was when I ate and eating copious amounts of food. So you fast forward that, and I'm in somewhat good shape. At this point, I'm actually working out a lot. Like, I'm training a lot, like 4 hours a day training. So anything I ate, it didn't bother me. And I met my wife, Amanda. She's right, not here. She's in the bedroom right now. And when we met, you know, it was a great time. She was my high school crush. I knew her from somewhere else, and meeting her was the best thing that ever happened to me. And even being together is the best thing that ever happened to me. But we've had some rocky starts. But even then, I remember my family meeting with her when I was getting ready, and saying, "Oh, you need to fix him. He's broken. Something's not right with him." So that didn't really go well for me at the beginning. A lot of arguments, a lot of things, because she had to fix me. I think the big marker was when my mom died. That was really bad. That's when everything shut down, and food was literally the thing to keep me numb, make me feel good, have laughs. And then I just kept using different excuses. I blamed my parents. I blamed everything I talked about right now. I just blamed. I didn't take accountability for me doing the eating. Like, I'm the one putting the food in my mouth. I could have made that decision. No one forced it down my throat. What had happened was she got pregnant. Amanda got pregnant with my oldest, Serenity, and then I used her being pregnant as an excuse to really eat. And I didn't realize how bad it was until I weighed 299.8 pounds. And that was probably 5 years ago. That's when I weighed that weight. And to be fair, like, I did weigh good weights in between, but I never could keep the weight off, because the whole thing that was holding me back was the emotional eating, and that was stuff from previous that I couldn't figure out, and I would just keep falling into that loop. So I'm a part of a success group, and we do this thing called the death meditation. And at that moment, that experience that I'm not going to talk about what it is, because I can't talk about it. Honestly, I'm not an expert at it, and me speaking on it, it would be a disservice to the experience. But at the end of it, I realized, if I don't change who I am and what I'm doing, I'm going to die before I even see my kids marry, get old, and I won't have a healthy and happy and long relationship with my wife. So then I spent 1.5 years on this journey, before even working out to lose weight, getting to the source of what was happening. And what I came to the realization is that I didn't trust people at all, because everybody let me down, and everyone didn't care about me, and everyone hurt me. So what I did is I trusted food, and I let food be my guider. And every time I felt stressed, nervous, not worthy, anything, I would always go and eat. The thing I realized in the last 7 months of being on this experience weight loss journey with people that are supporting me and do believe in me and do care about me, is that this food obsession, I don't think will ever go away. And even if I'm at 230 pounds, 220 pounds, 240 pounds, and I'm lean and I feel good about myself, in my brain, I'm always going to have the same repetitive cycle happen when I have stress occur, which is, if I eat said thing, if I crush these 10 cookies, I'm going to feel amazing. If I have this cake, I'll feel better. If I order this food, I'll feel better. These are the same patterns that always happen in my brain every day when I have stress come up and I don't feel good about myself. But what I do now is I use positive reinforcement. I really think about the end goal. I really think about the thing that I want for myself. And, there's days that eating doesn't really feel amazing. I don't give a shit. I don't want to eat this healthy food. I don't do any of it. And those days are a lot more than they should be as of right now. But the end game is what I want, which is to be healthy, happy, and free of this body that I don't want. I want a whole different type of body. The reason I made this video is because, you're not alone out there, man. Like, for sure, I'm definitely one of the people that can say a lot of different traumas affected my mental state and my relationship with food. But now I want to be very open and honest, is that I do see food as a vessel for fuel and a tool to actually utilize how I operate on a daily basis. Like I do fasting, I eat certain foods at certain times, and I know why I have to do it, and I'm very conscious of it. And as soon as you remove the food as a substance that is being abused and use it as a proper form and tool, then you can actually do so much more with your life and feel good about yourself. But it has to start with you, and only with you. And that's the one thing I will say here is that, like, you have to love yourself. And loving yourself isn't treating yourself to any food you want to eat at all times. Sometimes loving yourself means you have to eat 2 pounds of cod, which I just did, and drink a gallon of water. The thing that feels good is the end result, and it's not the thing you can do right now to feel good. It's the thing that you've done consistently over and over and over and over again to get a result that can make you feel good. Keep your thoughts positive. Give yourself as many positive reinforcement thoughts you need. Find people that support you and that are accountable, and you can be accountable to them. And just trust you and trust God and trust the universe, whatever you want to believe in, and follow that. Because if you're just eating food to feel good and just get yourself a little bit of a dopamine spike, but you're overweight and you can't feel comfortable walking and going outside, and you don't feel good putting on clothes, what are you doing? It's just time to level up. Be better people for yourselves. Because if you can be a better person for yourself, that means you can help and be a better person for so many other people. And that's what I'm doing. Changing myself to help change others. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, a thumbs up would be amazing. Some comments in the bottom if you have anything that's related to this. And, if you want to follow me and watch the journey unfold, that'd be great too. So subscribing would be amazing. So this video is done. Thanks for watching it. No excuses. Out.
No excuses. I got no excuses.